hope you're ready to laugh because today's episode is going to be a funny one. First up, we're talking about some comedy music happenings, new Weird Al, and some rumblings in the world of Tenacious D. Then our case today has to do with the guy watching clips of a very funny movie on his very own telephone during a very inconvenient time. We're going to decide whether or not he's guilty. Stay tuned. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, parking not.
Welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes between actual geeks over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case for a future episode, you can email us at geeksontrial@gmail.com. You can also help us supporting the show over at patreon.com/geeksontrial. For just $5 a month, you gain early access to both our audio and video episodes, plus our show, Geeks on Trial Sidebar. It's fun. Robes
Yeah, we
come
talk
off,
about all kinds of stuff.
fists come out, and we just fight.
Oh, yeah, we are often slapping each other.
Yep.
Remember that time Will Smith slapped Chris Rock?
No,
You don't remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
I guess you never saw Independence Day.
No, I have.
There's a clip where there's a scene in that movie where Will Smith is getting an Oscar.
Okay.
And he slaps Chris Rock.
Oscar who?
Or maybe that was a fan edit that I saw. Anyway, it's going to be a good show today. I'm so glad that people are joining us. We're deep in the summer months. Everything in the real world is
Shit.
just normal. Nothing to talk about.
Sorry.
Presidential things are going on all around us, but we're not here to talk about that.
No,
we're not going to bring that up.
The United States definitely isn't in a giant oven right now that's just
No.
hot. Let me tell you,
No.
I haven't sweat this much ever.
Come on, that
Ever.
can't be true.
Ever.
Not even once?
Not even once.
Wow. Not even when we went to that sauna?
Oh, we did go to that sauna. I didn't sweat, though.
We have a couple of topics today before we get
died
to
that
our
day.
case. First up, we're going to cover a couple of things in the world of comedy music.
Yes. But it is.
Kind of a niche genre.
It is, but it's not. But it's also exciting. And some of the stuff made me feel rather old, if I do,
Yeah. Well, there aren't many new comedy musical acts. Like, most of the ones you like are legacy acts at this point.
Or they're like, the new guys are like, or girls or whoever, are like people
Sure.
on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, just kind of like making a
True.
one-off thing, which,
Yes.
which is kind of how that world kind of got pushed away from the old comedy stuff. And now it's like, one-hit
Right.
wonders making stuff in their basement. The Bo Burnhams,
Right. But I mean, Bo Burnham is also...
It's also old as shit now,
yes,
too.
he's not new.
But that era, that kind of thing.
It's no longer a thing where, they put out an album or have a TV show. It's just, here's my disposable, as you said, a TikTok or an Instagram song, and then you move on. But this is some of the, not the originators, but our age of originators. First up, there was a new Weird Al song. This is the first new Weird Al single in a decade, unless you count, he had like the Hamilton polka.
He had the presidential debate ones. He did 2 of those.
Yeah, but that's like a collab. It's not really
Right.
his song. He also did a song for the movie on the soundtrack.
Oh, well, yeah, the
weird
closing credits. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is his first in a decade real single, which he announced and released last week, and it is called Polkamania.
What'd you think of
a brand new one?
We're both fairly
big.
big Weird Al fans. We've both been to more than 5 concerts, seen him live multiple
That's
times.
true.
We own multiple versions of his movie, and
It's true.
and
Both of them.
yeah, big fans of the Yankovic.
Yeah, and that is how you say it.
That is how you say
yeah,
it.
yeah. Some people might be watching this and are like, "Why are you talking about Weird Al?" But this is, I mean, as far as geeky subjects go, this
Pretty
is
damn
definitely
geeky.
It's
Now,
very geeky. That's
I
what we
guess
like.
because it's been about 10 years, like I feel like
Yeah.
Weird Al is still a name, but yeah, I guess it kind of kicked me in the stomach the other day when I felt like I was like, oh, it's been 10 years since he put out a proper album. And then I just got really sad because we probably haven't got, yeah, well, when's his last tour was not so long ago. So he's still been touring,
He's been
just not
touring,
with
yeah.
new-ish
He's been
content.
making movies. He's
Right.
been doing voice acting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. He's been around, but yes, he has. When he did his last album, he said it was his last album, and he said he was probably going to be doing more singles just online so that they could be more topical.
Right, he lied,
But
but that's fine.
yeah, didn't end up really happening. But maybe this is the start of that starting to happen. The polka itself, you can find it online. You can listen to it. Maybe people don't even know if you're not a Weird Al fan, but he's always done these polkas, which are medleys of popular music, and usually it's like from the last few years of popular music. But since it's been a decade, he did one with songs from all the last 10 years.
Right.
So some from just like 2023 all the way back to 2013.
Now, I was a little upset because when he put out a tweet, he teased it. He was like, "Hey, new song is coming out. New single is dropping." I do like, yes, I love the polkas. They're usually like the ones that like I often listen to death on the album. But to me, it's like it's a cop out. It is. It takes a lot of like it takes a lot of creativity to make these. It takes a lot of he's
Moxie.
he's putting the music together, but it's not like a written thing.
It is usually the polka. I mean, we all love the polkas, but they are usually it's almost like the intermission of the album usually.
Right.
It's like where you get that, and then you get like there's no jokes in the polka, right? The joke of a polka is always the same joke, which is isn't this funny that it's a polka?
Which is why I'm happy that he did the music video to go along with it, because the jokes are in the music video. And he did, I forgot what they called it, like not an anagram, but it was like a animation mashup of like maybe 5 or 6 different animators did a segment of the music video. And it's also like the first time I was excited about a music video in a long time, probably since 10 years ago.
Yeah, you weren't excited about I don't know, another one. I hear what you're saying. It would be great to get like a new parody song or an original song that actually has like lyrics that he wrote. It feel more, but it was kind of nice again, since I feel like hopefully it doesn't take him very long to maybe put out more stuff, because I like that this was a way to kind of reintroduce himself, and also as he said in interviews and stuff, it was his way of catching up and being like, what did I miss from the last 10 years?
Right.
Which is fun because it's like, oh, if he had been putting out albums all these years, you would have heard these songs in the polka, and I love getting to hear them that way.
Or we wouldn't have heard about them in the polka. They would have been like these
they would have
songs,
been maybe parodies,
probably because these were like the top songs of the year, or songs that he knew people who did them. But like these songs would have been parodied or style parodied or whatever. But
that's true. The only one that I felt a little bit like, wow, that one was, it ends on Shake It Off, which is, I looked up, that song came out a few months after his last album 10 years ago. So that song is old.
It is old. And the way he introduced it into the album, it seemed like we need to throw another, into the polka. It seemed like he needed to throw another song because it was kind of like an abrupt stop. And then that song started.
Well, apparently there was another, I don't know if you heard about this. There was a song he never heard back from the artist. So they cut it out. That was supposed to go right in there.
Do we know what it is or no?
We do. I don't know if you know that. I don't even, now it's embarrassing because I'm so uncool. Is it SZA? Is that how you say SZA?
No
okay.
Well, they have a song called title?
Yeah, it's called Kill Bill. And it's about I just killed my ex. We're old. We don't know about the. But I will say, other than that song, I think this might be the first time in Weird Al polka history I knew every song in the polka.
And we didn't have to go back and like research. Okay, what song is this? Where did this come from?
Yeah, usually there's one or two that I don't know. I think it's because, well, A, some of them are old, and they're all number ones. B, I think TikTok Definitely. I don't know that I would have known the Olivia Rodrigo song if I wasn't on TikTok, but I did. So that was fun. But yeah, the Shake It Off was the one that I was like, this feels dated.
Well, I thought he did that before.
That's the crazy thing, is that how crazy is that was, that's still Taylor Swift's biggest hit. Now she's way bigger than she was then. But to think that when Weird Al's last album came out, like that song didn't exist yet.
Now what? Yeah, that's crazy too. Now
crazy.
What? Taylor, you're a Taylor Swift fan.
I am.
What song would you have put in instead of that? From the
Definitely. And I've read the interviews with him, so he actually said that he was deciding between this and Anti-Hero. I think that is the better, more modern choice, but it's hard because it's like Shake It Off is the biggest hit
that everyone knows. Like people's grandmother know that song. Like it's
so I get it. I get the choice, but I'm like that's that's
well because you have to offset Shake It Off with WAP, so you kind of have to throw something in that That was my favorite music video too. Yeah, that was fun. That was exciting, and I'm hoping he does I was hoping when he said I'm done with the albums that he would put out like a polka every year, like do a yearly wrap up to do a polka because I said I'm sure it's difficult to do and get clearance and do all that, but it's a fun yearly wrap up.
Yeah, I mean the man is 64 years old and which is not like super old, but it's not super young.
But remember the last time we went on tour.
Like he's 30, It sounds great.
His band is older than he is. So you also have to take, but I don't know what his band does in the polkas.
They play all those damn instruments.
They do he brings them in to do, that's good to know.
Yep. I think he hasn't announced it yet, but he'll be on tour soon, next year.
He is also doing, he is selling the song too, which I thought was weird. So you can go on to whatever the things are and buy it. But
Makes sense.
Well, I think for this, I'd rather see the music video because you see the stuff with it, but you might get better quality buying it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just a standard. Why would you release a song and not let people pay you for it?
Which I never actually thought about before. It's like, oh, everything's released on YouTube for free.
It's true.
By the artist. So it's like, why?
But with ads, that's
that's I guess the issue. But you watch, you
can't. It's kind of hard to you can't put that in your Spotify or whatever.
True, and you can't have it on your. But people.
I mean, people have YouTube Music. I don't know how this shit works. I'm old as fuck, dude. I listen to an
Pandora,
MP3 player.
I use Pandora and YouTube. That's my music things.
But I mean, this is like a single. It could be on the charting charts.
The charting charts.
So that's Weird Al. We need to move on.
There's some more music news that's coming up that is a little political. And
that's true.
A little.
That's true.
Exciting.
Yeah, I guess we have to acknowledge that there was an attempt on former President Trump's life.
Right. And somebody shot him.
Just to catch you up. In case you didn't know.
You guys lived under a rock or in Iraq.
If somehow we are breaking that news to you,
right, to our many fans that this is the first that you're finding out. Former President Donald Trump was shot in the ear.
Don't worry, he's fine, folks.
He's actually stronger than ever.
That's right.
For Christmas this year.
So, this is another comedy band, Tenacious D.
Oh, I thought you meant Donald Trump.
Who followed in the footsteps of Weird Al, of course. Jack Black and Kyle Gass. They've been going strong since the 90s. I'm also a very big Tenacious D fan. Have been for a long time.
I'm a big fan of, I guess, their older stuff, but I don't know if they've put out anything.
They only have... Yeah, I mean, they only have older
3
stuff.
albums? That's what I thought, yeah.
They have 3 albums. One of them is a movie soundtrack.
Right.
They're not the most prolific band, but they do tour a lot and stuff like that. And every once in a while, they do some weird side project, like an animated thing or something.
Or they'll be like a movie. Well, we don't know for how long.
Or a cover. Yeah, well, controversy hit because they were touring in Australia recently. And they did this bit on stage where Kyle Gass, it was his birthday.
Oh.
Jack Black jokingly on stage gave him a birthday cake, blew out the candle, said, "Make a wish." And Kyle Gass on stage said into the microphone, his wish was, "Don't miss Trump next time." Something along those lines.
Right.
Referring to the attempted shooting on Donald Trump.
Sure, if a news anchor were to say that or something, not the best thing in the world, but these two are...
Tenacious D is a pretty... If you've listened to their music, they aren't exactly politically correct.
They're not politically correct. They're both stoners. They're both fairly foul-mouthed, and this isn't a weird joke for them, but apparently Jack Black and his company weren't really happy about this because they canceled the rest of the tour.
Yeah, Jack Black put out a statement saying like he at the time, during the show, people laughed. They just went on. There was
Right.
nothing happened. It wasn't like a big hubbub. That it was afterwards. Jack Black made a statement saying he didn't agree with that, and he canceled all future. Not only the tour, he also said like putting all of their creative work together on hold.
Basically, yeah, cutting the band, the friendship, everything just done because of a
As far as we know.
small joke. Now,
Kyle Gass did put out an apology on Instagram, but I think it's worth noting later on actually deleted that apology. So it's a little, we don't really know what's going on there.
I have views on this. I'm sure you do as well.
Not really. I'll let you talk.
I think it's kind of stupid that Jack Black kind of backed out of this. Like he's literally, yes, he's been in some 1-2 kids movies. He's like, known
He's the future
by
star of Minecraft.
known by all, but like also like I wouldn't if my kids were like, oh, I want to go see a Jack Black thing, I'd be like, let me check before we go, because I've seen some stuff that he's done, and
I don't think that's I think he has really crossed over. When's the last time he was in a movie that wasn't family friendly? Probably like 2000s. Like
So like I'm very like one-sided against this because like freedom of speech. You're a comedian. You're on stage. You're singing a song called "Fuck Her Gently" to a crowd full of people that are our age or
I mean
older.
that's a positive message though.
It's true. It's true.
Now they also have a song called City Hall, which is about overthrowing the government, as
Right.
well as a song called "The Government Totally Sucks."
Right.
Those are songs they have.
So yeah. So what are your?
Yeah, this is really. It makes me very bummed out because I love Jack Black and Tenacious D, and this feels like not a good look for Jack Black.
And this isn't like his look that he's been building for all these years of like the carefree, clowny kind of dirty-ish, but also like I get. But you're right though, because like the last like his big movie was the Mario movie. Like
Kung Fu Panda 4 just came out.
He is very like has many fires going at once that are all family friendly things. So I do see that side of it where it's like, oh, I have contracts to uphold for Nintendo and all these like family friendly things. That's like I can't make a shooting joke about anybody, let alone the president or the ex-president of a country that I work in and have a lot of my ties to. So I do see that side. I think it's stupid. Truthfully.
Yeah, it seemed I hope at least it seems like there was pressure from DreamWorks or Universal or whoever it was that was like, you're a kid's performer now. You're the voice of Bowser. You can't be associated with this kind of thing. But to me, it seems like if he had not said, and I only heard about this after his apology thing.
Right. It's Australia. We probably would have never heard about it.
Now, I don't know. Maybe they knew, the PR people were like, we can tell this is going to blow up. You have to get ahead of it. Right. But from my perspective, it seems like if he just didn't make a big deal out of it and no one said anything, like, was this really going to affect the sales of the next Mario movie? I don't think so.
Also, like, there's been so much about the subject said by higher up people in the industry that is much worse. Much worse. He said it in like I'm sure maybe there are cameras going, sure, because it's a public venue, but like there's been much worse things. And like it also hasn't stopped him from, I don't know what he sings on tour now, but like singing any of the songs that we mentioned on tour as Jack Black, the children's entertainer. So it's like,
yes.
I'm sure this wasn't his choice, but also this could have been his choice.
At least partially. I mean, he had to agree to it, even if he didn't come up with the idea.
There's a clip of him throwing a dog off a bridge. So,
he actually punts it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I mean, and the worst thing is that it's, these are just two guys who have been friends and partners for
Right.
30 plus years.
Right.
And it's like to just cut the ties like that is so sad. And also people who had tickets already, as far as I know, I don't think they've announced anything yet. Maybe they have, and I'm not paying attention, but like, are they going to reimburse them?
Right.
Are they going to get new tour dates? People were looking forward to those shows, and it's a bummer if you're a fan.
And it's also like fine. It's him maybe agreeing with what KG said could affect his younger audience, but now this is going to take money away from you from the people who supported you in the beginning when you were making these like dirty jokes and being the old school non-child entertainer Jack Black. But I don't know what pays. Probably the kids' movies pay better, 100%.
Yes, no
so
question.
we kind of see a side of Jack Black where it's like, well, the paycheck's coming in. I got to go with the paycheck, which kind of sucks. But,
Yeah, but again, I think that's the thing that annoys me so much is that I just feel like I don't think you had to. I think it all would have been fine. Like I don't think it like would Universal or Nintendo be like, don't fire that guy? I don't think so.
And if Nintendo or Universal fired him, somebody else would have picked him up.
Right.
And also, like, he's such a big name in these, like, his voice is so distinct that, they could find someone to replace him, but it wouldn't be the same charismatic, his entire, like, body into it character that he is.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope they resolve it, and maybe it's all a bit. Maybe they get back together. Maybe it makes their next album. It's a comeback album.
It also could have been like they went backstage.
Please Don't Miss tour.
Now, did they cut the show like right then and there?
No. The rest there was no like. If you can watch a clip of it online, it wasn't like, oh, the audience gasped and Jack Black was like, how dare you?
I need to leave. Right.
No, it was he laughed, or I don't know if he laughed, but the audience laughed, and everyone was. It was like nothing happened. It wasn't a big deal.
So I'm wondering if like they went backstage, he got the phone call. KG was probably in the same damn bus as him or hotel,
I'm sure.
And it's probably like, we need to do this. Now, it also did make me question, like, I didn't get much information. I'm like, what political party does Jack Black root for?
Oh, he's definitely Democratic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going to do a tour that was a Rock the Vote tour.
Right.
That was their tour.
But like, it's not like it just pops in your head for a second. You're like, wait a minute.
Oh, you think he's defending Trump? That's what you're saying?
Not like real, but like it's one of those things that's like it goes into back. It's like, wait a minute.
This is the problem with the like the centrist wanting to be polite, and like when John McCain died, all the Democrats being like, well, but he was a good man now that he's dead or whatever. And it's like, fuck off.
Like an hour ago, you guys were spitting on him. Like,
yeah. Anyway, I hope they don't miss next time. All right. So what we've determined is Jack Black guilty,
mm-hmm.
Weird Al not guilty.
It is funny though that like Weird Al spent most of his career not doing like any political things and stuff like that, but the last two debates he's been hitting hard on the political.
That's a non-canon appearance to me.
It is, but I guess it leans more towards the one
alternate universe.
There you go.
Shmo Yoho does those.
What'd you call me?
You heard me.
Oh.
All right. We need to finally move on. We had some fun discussions, but we do have a case today, which is also going to be pretty fun.
I hope so.
Buckle in. See what I did?
No.
You'll see. Today's case comes to us from the internet. You can find a link in our show notes or episode description. Our defendant today is Larry. Larry ran into some trouble with his girlfriend Charlotte recently when they were in the midst of a shopping trip. Charlotte was driving them to the shopping center and began to parallel park so that they could exit the vehicle and go about their day. Larry indicates, that's a large bottle you're drinking out of right now. Sorry, I couldn't let that one go without saying anything. Larry indicates that Charlotte sometimes takes a minute to parallel park. And not wanting to bother her or get in her way, he decides to take out his personal iPhone and starts watching clips from one of his favorite comedy movies, 2006's Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan. Mm-hmm. As Larry is laughing at Borat, Charlotte is struggling to park, and eventually, Larry's audible laughter starts to get to her, and she calls him out for what she considers to be rude behavior. Mm. as dual judges here on Geeks on Trial. It's now our job to determine whether Larry deserves to laugh or if Charlotte was right to call him on his gaffe. Those are two rhyming words.
Yeah, I get it.
What that was.
You know, in this fight, I bet you Charlotte wouldn't have missed.
Probably not. I don't know. She might have missed that parking spot. I don't know.
Sure, you don't know.
This is a funny case.
Funny case.
It's kind of a silly one, kind of a stupid one.
It is, but it's also informative. It's geeky, talking about parallel parking.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of places we could start here. You want to start with the parking?
Let's start with the parking. You know, parallel parking for me was the easier part of getting my license. I was actually I did well at parallel parking.
Wow. Okay. Brag much?
I do brag much because I think that's an issue for a lot of people. How are you with parallel parking?
I feel like this is this is the thing they always say, you know, parallel parking.
It's
the devil's parking.
I'm worse at parking in between the lines at like a grocery store or a parking lot than I am at parallel parking.
You're built different.
But I'm also not afraid to hit the curb.
That's good. I am not a good parallel parker.
It's actually I've driven with you a few times. I don't know if
I go out of my way just to not do it because of course I learned how to do it for my driving test, you know, when I was 16 years old.
Right.
It's a little ways back.
Right.
And I just, you know, grew up and lived most of my life in areas where you didn't really need to do it that much. And so over time, my skills for doing it deteriorated because I never had to. So now I can do it, but if it's not like, if it's a tight, like if we're talking we're in the New York City and there's one car behind and one in front and I got to get in there, I can do it. You better give me like 10 minutes.
Well, that's my biggest issue is isn't the getting into the spot, because I can get into that spot. It's the anxiety of like turning around. There's some, and you're right, New Yorker, you always think of that thing, or like I've driven a lot in Hoboken.
It's my nightmare.
You're turning around and it's somebody just staring you dead in the eyes, hand on the horn. You're like, I just backed it. Like, what do you want me to do?
I don't even,
and, you know.
Yeah, if it's not, I've never experienced anyone like getting mad at me for it. It's more, I'm just embarrassed. Like, I don't want anyone to see me doing this because I know it's so awful to look at.
Now, it is so much easier now. My partner has a minivan, but it has a backup camera. So the backup cameras make it so much easier now because it's like I can see where we're going. But my car, it was like a year after or before backup cameras were in most.
Forget
cars.
about backup cameras. That's not even the real thing. I've seen cars now that have overhead cameras.
Those are crazy.
I don't even understand how that shit works.
No.
Is it like AI that they have a satellite image, but it shows you like your literal above ground view, bird's eye view of your entire car?
Well, what
happens? Surroundings.
A drone pops out and just hovers above your car.
There must be a camera up there somewhere. I don't know how the hell that works.
Or they stitch a bunch of side cameras together. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But what I need a camera like that because I never, like I said, never know how close I am to the curb. Like I'll like occasionally I'll tap, not hit, but like tap the car in front of me or behind me, which isn't like not the greatest thing to do, but you know, it's not that bad. You see it happen in the cities all the time. But yeah, I'm never anxious about getting the car in. It's just my speed of which I'm getting it into, even though I'm sure that people around me can just go around me.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I know there's like an actual, you know, you line up your mirror with this section, then you turn your steering wheel back this way, and then now you reach this point, then you turn it back the other way.
Right.
But that's the part that I don't remember. So I'm just doing like a little like Austin Powers when he's trying to get out of the hallway. I'm like, it's horrible.
Now I do give people the credit who can pull into a spot and just get right in. I'm like, that's magic. I don't know how you do that.
Sure, I mean it's impressive.
Now I do have a parking story which I love. I used to.
I'd love to hear that.
When I was in film school, it was right across the river of New York.
Bragging.
So I would go to drop off and pick up my film, my movie film for my movie cameras.
Oh, like Borat, your movie film.
Yeah. And so the one time I couldn't find a parking spot because that's another thing of anxiety which then I have to go on top of anxiety for parking, is I've been driving around this block for an hour trying to find a street parking.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was in Manhattan, middle of midday on like a 2-lane road. I put it into park, hopped out of my car, put the 4-ways on, ran in, got my film, and came back out. I blocked traffic on one side of the street.
Hey,
and I'm like, I felt like the most New Yorker I've ever felt in my life.
Sometimes that's what you do. Sometimes
like I get out,
there's
there's like a truck driver just yelling at me, and I'm like, nah, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
That's whatever.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
bud.
That was like
I'm
my
parking here.
My most parking, like my like gold star parking thing for me.
Did you shout out, I'm parking here?
No, but I did flip a few people off because I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Flip them the old bird, as I like to say.
Yes.
So we sympathize with Charlotte. At least I do.
Yeah.
I empathize because I understand the pains of parallel parking. I said, I will go out of my way unless I have no choice. 9 times out of 10, if I'm going somewhere new and street parking, I see a spot with a car in front and behind, I'm not parking there. That's taken. That's
now,
not for me.
do you need like absolute silence while you're parking, or can you like block out like it sounds like Charlotte needs, like, yeah, she's new to driving. We don't know how old she is necessarily. I don't think we do, right?
Let's just say she's 57.
So she's, at this point in her life, she's ketchup. So she needs absolute silence, it sounds like, and she needs no
Does it
laughing.
sound like that? Or because there's silence and then there's like a specific noises or activities maybe that could grate you in a different way.
It sounds like to me the way that Larry is like interacting with it is like, it doesn't sound like he's like slapping his knee and like shoving the phone and like, being obnoxious about it.
I don't know.
But to me, it sounds like he's like just kind of like enjoying something. Like,
remember, we're hearing Larry's POV.
Sure.
This is Larry's our word on this.
And like if there was other people in the car with her, there would probably be chatter back and forth, which would also be, I guess, the same amount of distracting. So it just sounds like she was annoyed in general because she's parking. But I don't know if his reactions were too big of a deal. But do you need to like turn the radio off to like park?
No.
But
I'm not parallel parking that often where it's like, I don't want to like have a conversation, I guess.
Right. Or like,
but I wouldn't be like, everyone silence now. Right. Necessarily. But I also, I could imagine certain types of noise that I might be like, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to park right now.
Here.
The fact that what he's watching is Borat.
Yeah, and this is a new...
Not just Borat. Clips of Borat.
Right, and we don't know... There was 2 Borat movies. We don't know which one he was watching.
That's true. Well, he says, quote, clips of Borat. I have to say, I made an assumption. He says clips of Borat. This could be Borat from the Ali G show.
That's right.
This might be Borat on a guest starring on a late night talk show. This could be Borat from any number of Borat appearances.
It could be the Borat soundboard from E-Bomb's world.
Maybe he's just pressing those buttons.
My wife.
Just laughing. I just love that this man, how beautifully simple. Mm-hmm. This is a real dude's rock moment of just laughing watching a clip of Borat.
Now, okay, to be fair, my brain goes to 2 different places. Yeah. It's either these are clips that are like saved to his phone that he like downloaded from YouTube, Instagram, or whatever. Or it's like, that's his algorithm on TikTok or whatever. He has Borat things that pop up all the time and he keeps going to those. So it could be one of 2, because I do see the Borat stuff pop up occasionally, but it's usually in like mocking things.
Sure, Borat's kind of it's kind of gone the way of Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
It's not exactly in popular culture anymore. No. It's not considered funny to do a Borat impression anymore.
Which is why it's still hilarious to do them.
Now it's fun. It's funny because it's not funny.
Right.
What's your? Were you a Borat guy or a Sacha Baron Cohen fan
Yes.
at any point? Yeah.
I would say, I like Borat. There's a few characters which I didn't enjoy, but they weren't.
Did
all
we
hits
see that
were-
movie together?
Yeah,
that
we did.
first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
We saw that first movie.
I mean,
did
you
we see
gotta-
that?
Yeah, in
Theaters?
theaters. Oh yeah,
Okay.
because this is one of those back in my day kids type of
Right.
stories because comedies don't get made or go in theaters anymore.
No.
But man, that was one of those moments in time when if you saw Borat in a movie theater opening weekend as we
You
did,
were hot.
you remembered a packed theater full of people cracking the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just like dying of laughter, infectious, and like a full theater.
And and the seats weren't recliners. No, these were the small
No.
seats. There was like 400 people in a theater. Like it was full.
This was the Cinema Paradiso. There's people smoking.
Now, what year did this movie come out?
2006.
So we were both actively underage
High school.
when this movie came out.
No. Were we?
I graduated high school in 2007. So
you
yeah,
were
we
probably
had to be like,
7. No, you had to be
17.
7. Yeah, you were 17. 17. Oh, well, 17 is how old you need to be to see an R-rated movie.
right.
But maybe
Some-
we were under 18. Yeah.
I don't remember, but so we had to we were either was it PG-13? No, that
No,
had to be an R-rated movie.
yeah, it's an
That had to be an
R-rated movie.
R-rated movie. So we either had to get dropped off by our parents because it was
Yeah.
a R-rated movie,
Yeah.
or we just somehow got in because maybe I was 17 and you
I
just
think
came
a
with
parent
me.
maybe was with us. I don't remember.
That's just
but,
the weird times that I just.
But yeah, we were young. Yeah, we weren't sneaking in. We were good boys.
no, we were and we went to the AMC. So or maybe
I have no idea. That I don't remember. I could
No.
check my stubs. I probably,
probably
still got
have
it.
So so Borat was like the big movie at the time that if you went and saw it opening weekend and you remembered like everybody at the lunch table, my wife, like it was
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, that's
Like-
what makes it so funny to still be watching it. Now, I don't know. Would it be funnier if he was watching the whole movie, or is it funnier that he's watching specific clips? That's his go-to for like, I've got 2 minutes to kill. I know. Let me load up
I load up some
Borat.
Borat clips and see.
I don't know why
But-
it just kills me.
But now, like we were talking about Napoleon Dynamite and stuff, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm assuming these are teenagers that we're dealing with now, or early 20s.
I don't know because are teenagers watching Borat?
Well, that's the thing I was going to bring up is like Napoleon Dynamite. They're doing like commercials now, bringing back Napoleon Dynamite and doing clips of Napoleon Dynamite for the commercials. It's weird.
They are?
So it's like because it's aiming
What
towards
for? What
our
company?
I don't even remember because I just ignored it
Okay.
because it was who played Napoleon Dynamite. I forgot the actor's name.
Everyone
John-
did. Heater or Header? I
John
don't know how to say his
yeah.
name.
So like he was like him as like I don't know how old he's like 40 playing. I'm like, oh, that's not okay.
Well, it's like they always like every year for the Super Bowl, you'll either get a Ferris Bueller or a Cable Guy or
Right.
whatever. They're always bringing back some nostalgia thing for the millennials. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a new Borat movie. He came out with the sequel in
During-
2020 during the pandemic,
Right.
2020 or 2021.
So the commercial was for Orida tater tots.
Okay, well, sure, makes sense. Why not?
Right.
Did you ever watch the Borat sequel?
No.
What did you?
Or if I did,
there was
I
nothing to
didn't.
do back then. It was the quarantine days. Like that
I
was
was
all we
on
had.
I was on the TV shows thing. I watched Tiger King and that kind of stuff.
Well, that'll last you like a day, and then you
Well,
got to
it
find
did.
something else. You got to.
I might have watched it, but just never it never sunk in because I don't remember
Sure.
it being.
I liked the second Borat movie. It's funny, and he also had that Who Is America show, which I also thought
Yep.
was pretty funny. I like Sacha Baron Cohen joint
Yeah.
now and again.
And
I
even
like
when
Bruno.
he pops into serious roles or non full
Sure,
comedic roles.
Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury.
Right. Yep. That was good stuff.
He almost played Freddie Mercury. I think the movie would have been a lot better if he did.
Probably.
Anyway, we don't need to go down that. That's a tangent.
My queen.
But, so we're both giant Borat fans.
Huge Borat fans.
I'm not a person who's watched. I've watched Borat clips. Usually I'll see like the TV show clips.
Well, that's the thing. I'll go back
from
and
time
be
to
like,
time.
remember stuff, or it'll pop up on
Yeah,
whatever I'm watching. I'll be like, oh, that's funny, but I won't like seek out things. But I don't
usually.
really, I'm not really someone who seeks out stuff that I'm either not subscribed to or doesn't pop up in my algorithm. Because like if I'm in a place where it's like, okay, let me watch something, I'll just like go to TikTok or Instagram.
You
and
like
just
to be
scroll
told
through,
what to consume.
told what to
by,
consume.
by the
Yeah,
algorithm.
but do you have like a? I'm sure I know you don't. Do you have a go-to
Okay.
like thing that you'll just be like, oh, I'm sitting here at the airport or wherever. Let me just watch these clips.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's not
podcasts.
in a situation like this where it sounds like even, he's saying that she takes a while to parallel park. You're looking at like a 5-minute time period max.
Right.
I'm not, especially when I'm like, if I'm like next to somebody,
You're not gonna whip out.
I'm not doing an
Right.
audio video experience.
Right. Maybe
Maybe a podcast,
But like if it's 5 minutes and you're like waiting for them, either you're talking to them, you're trying to
or
figure
I'm
out
I'm on like a message board or
text
like I'm playing
message.
Minesweeper or something or a crossword puzzle. I'm not
Well,
doing
especially it sounds like they're going somewhere. So like you might be
they're
looking
shopping.
up like right. So it's like, oh, let me see what restaurants are near. Like you'll be doing something for the next step of the adventure, not just
Sure, right. It's funny that your first instinct is just like, I got a minute, I want to chuckle. Let's
Right.
bring up the Borat, baby.
Right. And it's also like
so
it's
funny.
I'm assuming like full fucking loud speakers.
That's I guess that's what I am also assuming. I don't know how. I mean, I think we've talked. I don't know if it was on the show or not. But I think at one point we talked about our personal policies of like we're not people who watch a video out and about on your phone.
Or if I do, I'll have like an earbud in. Like
Yeah, he says watching clips of Borat on my iPhone, laughing to myself, quote, quietly occasionally. He also says while she kept adjusting and trying to correct her parallel park, which she, quote, again, was very bad at.
yeah, his wording is a little kind of pisses me off a bit.
um, he doesn't say if he's using headphones or not.
Okay.
So we have to. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I mean, if he is not wearing headphones, it's a little annoying. That certainly makes it more rude.
Now, what you have the case files open in front of you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What is the relationship?
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
So if he was a decent boyfriend and he knows she has issues with parallel parking and she's still new to parallel parking, maybe hop out of the car and like direct
I don't know
her
if she's
in.
new to it. Could be an option. Well, I think his position is that he's like, maybe he's tried to give advice before and maybe that's gotten him in trouble. I don't know. That's speculation.
Right, but I could see that because like sometimes like I'll be wanting to do something and it's like, okay, let me try to figure it out myself. I don't need.
Sure, and maybe he's not good at giving directions or something. Right. But it sounds like his position is like I'm just going to stay out of her way.
Right.
Like he's trying to avoid trouble by being like I'm just going to keep to myself.
Right.
But he's sitting there giggling like Beavis and Butthead.
Well, it's also the other thing too of like maybe you don't have the attention span. Like maybe like I don't want to throw like he has ADHD or something down, but like it's not like an hour she's in the car taking the park. Like just sit there, look around, like I don't know.
You can just can't you just
But
sit
it's also
there?
like I'm judging a little bit, but it's also like,
Well, you are the damn judge. So.
Hey, look at this. I got a gravel.
I mean,
maybe
maybe we're underestimating. Maybe she's really bad at parallel parking. Maybe this is a 15-minute ordeal.
But at that point, if she's really bad at it, I would be also like anxious too and like looking around and be like, do you want me to do it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like, that's going to get you in trouble.
It will.
You can't be doing that. That's not going to win you any good boy
But
points.
I also even when we're like sitting in traffic and whoever I'm driving with could be upset or they're like listening to their jam and I'm like just co-piloting, I won't have the audio on. Like I'll even go on TikTok and read the subtitles. Like I'll just or like look at pictures or read.
Learn to lip read.
Right.
Yeah, or just scroll through your news feed or Twitter or whatever. Yeah, there's plenty of options that aren't watching a clip or any kind of video.
Right.
Removes you, like you're no longer active or present in the moment.
And
you
especially when it's
absorbed.
one and like when it's two people, be it friends, relationship, basically anybody but a stranger. That is kind of weird to be like, hey, I value our time together, but maybe not that much.
I think, yes, the situation changes if you're a third person in the back seat, let's say.
Right.
I feel like there's there's almost an unspoken responsibility if you're in the passenger seat. You gotta be there you're the wingman for that driver.
Right. Like you're looking out like the mirror being like, okay, you can come back a little, like,
or just having a conversation, just
or being the DJ.
being there if they want something. If you're in the back seat, it's like you're in another country.
You can take a
do
nap.
whatever you want.
Get out of the car if you want.
You're free. No responsibilities. But yeah, and especially if there's no one else in the car. You are just being like, no longer looking at you.
Right.
Phone time for me.
Right. And
Wake
also,
me up
like,
when you're done.
they are in a relationship, so it is kind of an added thing. Like if it's your buddy or your friend or fine, but you're in a relationship, so whatever like side you're on, it's like not even be supportive, but like don't just completely block out the situation, because you're right. Once it is an AV situation, you're turned off to the world around you more or less, and you're just locked into that. But I'm on the fence because I do see both sides. What you brought up a good point. Was she parallel parking for 15 minutes, and is he like, trying to hide in his phone because people are now staring at her? It's like it's that episode of Seinfeld where
where they go to the Chinese restaurant.
Well, no, where they both pulled into the spot. It's
the
my
big
spot,
salad.
Yeah, the big salad.
Soup
episode.
Nazi.
Soup Nazi. All of them actually.
The Junior Mint one.
No, the finale where they went to jail.
Oh yeah.
Oh, spoiler alert! I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
Well, you don't know. They don't know. Jail could be a metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is one of the biggest things about this case. That's maybe the trickiest point, is trying to understand how bad is she at parallel parking. That may be the thing that makes the difference. Is like, is he complaining and griping and unfairly? Right. Or is this truly a long, drawn-out process?
Now, would it be different if it was something, I don't know, not Borat? Like, is he like always on Borat? Is this always like?
I do think there's something about Borat that, even though I've already said I'm a big Borat fan, there's something, it still kind of has an air of douchey frat boy vibes. You
have to be with the bros. Yeah, you have to be like,
even though I think lots of women love Borat.
Yeah,
but it has a vibe. It has a vibe of like, it's a little bit of a guy's thing.
Well, I mean, it's pretty sexist. So,
it depends on your culture and your background.
Right. But, so like, I do understand that is a, the boys kind of thing.
It's definitely, it makes it funnier. And yes, it adds a little bit of, it would be slightly different if he was reading Pride and Prejudice or something.
Or listening to like a music clip, or like, somebody telling him how to get more subscribers on Facebook,
Sure, I don't know if that's better or worse, but it's
No,
something.
It's
He's not, he's also not listening to Joe Rogan or like there are worse things.
Right. Now, I'm assuming this isn't he says he goes to this often. So it's like, I'm sure
it's his comfort clip.
It is, which is fine. So I'm sure she might just
it's
be
on
annoyed.
His home screen.
She's just sick of hearing it. And she's like, I'm trying to parallel park. Put away the goddamn Borat.
It's 2024. It's time for you to watch a new movie.
We weren't born when this movie came out. Stop it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of feelings about this in both directions. I don't know. What do you think? I
think we can.
Want a verdict?
We can verdicts if you want to take the reins.
I kind of want you to go first.
Okay. So, listening to both sides of the story, and listening to Larry and listening to Charlotte, and listening to the two of them be in the car together. At this moment in time, they're both annoying. They're both like, if you're the backseat driver, if there's a third person in that car and you're in the back seat and you're just watching you're watching, Charlotte park for what seems like eternity. And then you're looking over and you're seeing and hearing my wife coming out of this guy's phone. They're both kind of annoying in their different ways.
Either way, you don't want to be in this car.
No, this is an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. This is something that Larry has done before, I'm sure. So it's hard for me to pick a side. Sure, should he not have his phone out and maybe be helping his his partner, his friend, his buddy, his he's the co-pilot. You should be paying attention to the surroundings. Maybe at some point, just be like, let me park the gosh darn car, and help make her feel more comfortable, because it is about a comfort thing. The more comfortable you feel, the easier it gets to learn. You just feel at ease, and pretty soon, bam, you're just hitting in the cars. So, it's hard for me to choose because,
Yeah, we get. No, we get it.
I love Borat, and I can't, but it's.
Is Larry guilty of being annoying? That's our ultimate question here.
I'm gonna have to say yes.
Or
Larry
being,
is guilty of being annoying, because hey, this might have come up before that Charlotte doesn't like this. He plays it all the time, even not to figure out who the two of them are and do all this, but like maybe he does this often. It's just annoying in general. But he's getting on her nerves. He's getting on her nerves. Playing that, she's already upset because she can't park this car. And he's maybe not helping, and just kind of just ignores and blocks out the situation, which can be annoying. So yeah, Larry's guilty of being annoying.
All right. Good verdict. Good verdict. I do think if I had to, if I have to make some assumptions based on this post, I would probably guess that Larry's not the best boyfriend. It does sound like the tone that he has referring to her parking ability,
or just her ability in general. Sorry.
Really just, please, whose the verdict is this? Really makes it sound like he's got some kind of a bugaboo about this. Like he's unfairly like, there's a maybe this is unfair and maybe this isn't true, but there's a tinge of possible sexism there where of like, oh, my annoying girlfriend can't drive a car, or doesn't know how to park the way I do. I wish she'd let me drive and be in charge or whatever. There is a little bit of that I sense from the way this is presented to us. So I kind of think he's guilty of being a bad boyfriend. I do think he's probably being kind of annoying. On the other hand, Borat is very funny.
On the other hand, we are men, so I don't.
And I mean, you remember that there's a deleted scene, I don't know if you've ever seen it, where he goes to the grocery store and he's in the cheese section, and he's like, what is this? And the guy's like, oh, that's cheese. And then he goes to the next cheese right next to it and says, and this? And he goes, that's cheese. And this goes on for like 6 minutes.
Right.
Just every piece of cheese. What's this? That's cheese. It's cheese. This is cheese. Yes, that's cheese. And it's very, very funny.
It's great parallel parking content.
So I can't, in good conscience, as a Borat fan, I can't go against my man Larry, even though maybe I should. I'm a judge, and I don't have to be impartial. I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to, and I'm going to declare Larry not guilty.
Wow.
So that makes us a mistrial, which is even better than the original trial.
True.
They just put a bow on the trial, but it was slightly more advanced and more fun version to play. Mistrial came out in the 80s.
She's my wife.
Because this, thank you. That's good. Because this is a mistrial, that means that both parties are going to be punished. So, Ivan, your job is to come up with a sentence for Larry, and I'm going to be sentencing Charlotte. Okay. I mean, maybe it might just be bad enough that they both have to live with each other, but
right. That's yeah.
Because like you said, they do both sound annoying.
So the practical one for Larry is that he is now the driver. He has to drive everywhere. He is the designated driver that has to do all the driving and do everything. And maybe he has a 6-month ban put on his phone, his computer, for anything Borat. No searching Borat, no Borat clips, no Borat photos. He can't have his Borat body pillow anymore. No Borat for 6 months.
Wow. No Borat for 6 months. I don't think I could do it.
I mean, I think this might be the first time I've talked about Borat in a while. I will occasionally go, my wife, or things of that tone.
Sure. Haven't we all? Charlotte, I think I'm going to make her undergo a 6-month comedy training course. I think she needs to get a better sense of humor about things. And specifically, this course is going to focus on like comedy of the mid to late 2000s. So she's got like, I want her to watch Borat, The Hangover, throw Napoleon Dynamite in there. That sort of era, maybe Old School with Will Ferrell.
Like a beer fest, like some of those.
Oh yeah, that's good. Sure, Super Troopers.
Right.
Get that type of comedy.
Just
I think she's
the
got to learn
Tom
the
Green
ins and
show.
outs. Okay, why not? Road Trip. Get all those in there and really learn to laugh. Learn to laugh, Charlotte.
Learn to love.
Maybe. Let us know what you think, viewers and listeners. Who do you side with, Larry or Charlotte? Kind of a tough call. I bet there's some difference of opinion out there. You can let us know your thoughts. Either comment if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can email us, geeksontrial@gmail.com. Hey, that's the same place you can go if you've got your own little dispute, whether it be about movies, video games, board games, or some other geeky subculture. You can email that to us, tell us the case details, and we'll settle it for you right here on the air, or you can use our little form link in the description as well.
And if you'd like to help support the show, and we would love that, we need to buy new copies of Borat. Ours ran dry. We played it way too much.
Oh,
head
yeah.
on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial. $5 a month, early access, and our show, Geeks on Trial Sidebar. It's fun stuff. We talk about great things, and there's some season 2 action, a new season over there on the Patreon. Oh, he's having an attack, folks. So this might be a good time to ask him where people can find him on the old internet.
Yakshimash, you can find my other projects
I've made a mistake.
jonathanestis.com. Oh, nobody liked it. There's my YouTube channel. There's podcasts. At some point, I might put something new on the YouTube channel.
Oh, can you review all the Borats?
It's the Borat retrospective. Top 10 Borat clips to watch while your girlfriend parallel parks.
Larry will come out for that.
Real targeted marketing, that one.
Sure.
How about you, Ivan?
You can find me over at ivanhan.com and Ivan Arhan and all the other socials. And head on over to youtube.com/thesnackguy. I put out a shorts review. I don't review shorts, I'm sorry. It's a short review on the pineapple Pepsi from Little Caesars. I take a break from snacks and do a little review on pineapple Pepsi. It's interesting. It's very, it comes in full sugar only, and my body is not used to non-diet sodas. So, pineapple on pizza and pineapple in soda. What do you think?
I like the mango Pepsi.
That was good. I like the mango. I like the weird flavored Pepsis and Cokes and all that
fun.
Jazz. And
they're fun.
I
was going to say something else. Hold on, though. What was it?
That's fine.
You're talking about. Oh yeah, you're saying you don't review shorts. I was going to say, well, Bart Simpson might consider shorts to be a snack. So maybe you should review those.
And until next time, I'm Ivan Hahn.
Oh, I'm Jonathan Estes. Thanks for watching. That's another case closed.